Oh, I'm here now.
Hooray! And congrats with your win in the end.
Oh, I've had such a day, mate. I can't tell you. It's just been... It's one of those days when Blood Bowl just decides it's going to completely mock you. Let's use fresh language. Yeah, I've been up, down, round the houses. Life is a roller coaster. You've just got to ride it. Oh, I got heated on, where I lost 3 and he lost 1, and instantly a blitz. When he'd given me 5 turns to score, but the Heat took 3 of mine, 1 of his, and then a blitz, and then he one-die pals 3 guys in a row, stunning each of them. You just think, okay, right, fine.
Cool.
And then that game, I think I rolled 5 double skulls in the game, which are going to happen, but that's quite a lot.
Yes. But you won.
Yeah, I did win. Yes, it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Throek was there. He saw it. He would not claim I was lucky. I'm sure.
Oh, he will always claim just because he can. But let's get back to we got a cup to draw.
We do, and here I am. Let's do it. It's been an exciting one, hasn't it?
Yeah, and funny enough, we don't have a single elf team. We got 3 undead teams, 2 dwarf teams, 2 halfling teams, 2 humans, Amazon, Spreads, Skaven, Norse, Orc, Underworld, and Vampire. But not a single elf team.
No, I had a fabulous run with my goblins. Things looked briefly good, but then that toxic arsehole Throek completely finished it off for me once. First it was Strider who beat me up with his humans, which were built just for that. It's all he cared about. And then Throek did the same with his extremely lucky Amazon play. And so sadly we ended 2-2-3, which is pretty terrible for me with goblins, to be honest.
Yeah. Talking about that, so Throek and Strider is the 2 from that division as well.
Yes, absolutely. They've managed to sneak through with their extremely overpowered, toxic, dull builds.
We got Hellboy on Underworld. We got Gary on Undead. We got Fair on Norse. Joffrin on Dwarf. We got Store on Halflings. Not the biggest surprise of ever.
Nope.
We got a CJ Blackburn into the cup again. This time with Reds. We got our Lenses on some Undead. We got Largo, another returning on humans this time.
He's been there before.
We got the Fakero, Gucci Galore on some Skavens, Chuck on some Dwarves, Dio sneaking in with his flanks.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that. I looked about halfway through the season and he looked doomed.
It was a 3-way tiebreaker. With
Anton
and
he get a forfeit win in? Wasn't there a forfeit
he was
win
the only one with not a forfeit win. He had a draw against that dude. He was about to miss the playoff for not getting a forfeit win, but he had beaten Anton, I think, and it was.
I had the same. I had a guy who I drew with who then pulled out, and everyone else got forfeits. But that's life, isn't it? That happens. Yeah. One mustn't grumble. You deal with what's there.
Yeah, a 3-way tiebreaker with the one with threes winning. Good one.
Well, at least he'll get thrashed and humiliated in the first round of the knockout.
And
so
we got Siggy, another returning with some orcs. We got Elliot with some rowdy vampires. Spelled the good way, vampires.
That is the only way now to spell vampires. I refuse to hear it any other.
And
do you notice we got Throek in the chat, by the way, looking to see what his completely overpowered, ludicrous Roxy Zon build gets. But while he's there, I'm going to blatantly advertise the latest episode of the Fumble podcast, which has 3 wonderful people on it, myself, Throek, and Arrested Development. And this time we brought in you.
We did, yeah.
As a 4th name. So do feel free to drop a quick advert for that, Throek, in the chat. And do feel free to go and check that out. Other podcasts are available, but they're not as good.
Actually, I should probably first. Let me push the button then.
But no, I think it looks a great field. I'm excited to see the draw.
doesn't tell me which teams. That's fine. I could have done that without. Cool. We have a draw. Whoop. That's not the right way. And the first game is TST first time, which was randomly chosen for you. I cannot recall who that is.
I should probably be in there on my client, but like I said, I've just finished a fumble game, so I haven't fired up BBT yet.
We'll get there. Random chosen for you is CJ Blackbone's guard-heavy Bretts. He do love
very, very good coach, and a really interesting build, isn't it? I mean, obviously the blockers with guard and wrestle is extremely strong on Brett's, but this is the sort of build you normally see Broken Galante spring out from behind. But instead, he's gone with all 4 of the, I still think of them as knights, but blitzers they are on Blood Bowl 2. Drop leader on 1, of course, as you tend to. A tackle 1, only 1 blodge 1, which is perhaps a little surprising.
He's going for the wrestle guard 14 players. I think he's going the standing route.
Yeah, and then he's got, as you say, he's got peasants up to 14. So presumably he's kicking things in the face.
And did you say it's Garion's? Yeah, first time.
Yeah.
So that's as standard as we talked about to that. You can take 13 players and 3 ghouls or 4 ghouls and 12 players. That's pretty much what you get to choose between with an undead.
Yeah, absolutely. Undead. Yawn. Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? No. I mean, I like the 4 ghoul build. I understand, dodge is incredibly powerful in NAF. There's not a lot of tackle around. I just worry that the 4th ghoul can get banged out so easily. 2 blodge and a wrestle ghoul, that's fantastic. I mean, it's right. It's built right, isn't it? 2 guard whites.
We'll see a little bit later how I think you should build on that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do as well.
I don't have a huge problem with it. Don't you normally have 2 wrestle and 1 blodge?
No, probably not. It depends a little bit what the meta is. And we also need to remember how people knew which kind of team they were meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. They knew what was going to be in the league, didn't they? So that's why everyone built to hurt my goblins.
This is not particularly, but this is like we can play anything with this roster. That's why I built it that way.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
CJ is a bit. CJ wants probably to get up in numbers, which is not great against regen team. But the ghouls make him a little bit vulnerable. He's got the numbers
to get up in numbers every drive, though, Core, isn't he? Because with 14, he can afford to throw the odd foul.
He will need to probably, but it's not the greatest team to foul against. Besides, if he can get the fingers on a ghoul.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the ghouls.
Yeah.
Taking them down might be a little tricky, except the dodge
does have a tackle.
He does have a tackle, doesn't he? But it's getting to them. But of course, he also has Dauntless, which can help with the mummies. So
it's an interesting matchup. I don't think particularly that's what Garion wanted to see first round.
No, I don't think it's going to be thrilling for either. I would still, if you had to make me choose and put a gun to my head, I would want to be coaching the undeads there.
Yeah,
slightly, but I do think it's a nice Brett build to take undead on.
Yeah, that's it's definitely not the worst Brett's build, and it's not particularly what you want to see because it's going to be hard to dominate the 14 players.
So whoever wins that will play the winner of this, isn't it? That's how these draws work.
And it's Stores, Flings on one side, Ping and Dimity.
Yep.
Box away.
The Cleavers.
I think that was Ziggy Zork, so let's start with Ziggy Zorks. That's probably not what you wanted as Flings either, is it?
As Flings, you really don't want a strong high armor team. Flings
combined with Tackle and Mighty Blow.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a toxic team, Flings. Really, they just want to kick you in the face, win by fouling, and then laugh and dance on your grave. So high armor really isn't what they're looking for.
But he's gone with 3 goblins, though.
Reasonably solid build, except for the goblins.
He went the funny route like me. It's more fun.
Yeah, it is.
And
I mean, I've been experimenting a lot with orcs with goblin ball carriers because Mr. Throw is so terrible and about to get worse. And obviously against wood elves, that's awful, and you have to suddenly carry on a blitzer. But against almost everyone else, you've got it on a move 6 piece that can break the line, moves quicker than Mr. Throw, has dodge built in. There's a lot of good reasons behind it.
Yeah,
but
and And
tiny bit many, isn't it?
Yeah, it fits. The problem is it kind of fits the money when you first do it. If you take
Right.
more than one, the third one kind of fits better in to get a bench.
Yeah.
You can see there's Apple and rerolls. It ends up fitting the money if you go that route to
Sure.
take all
Yes. I mean,
three.
the problem is, of course, 2 on the field, but then with a wall of strength 4, 2 of them guard, some very rowdy blitzers,
And he got the
one of which is
frenzy.
built as a ball handler, so that the goblins are really there for assists and back edges of cages and maybe the odd foul, aren't they?
And
They're not trying to ball carry on.
and sneaky stuff with the frenzy if people is not careful.
Yeah, absolutely, because of course goblins being stunty, I'm sure everybody knows that, can get absolutely everywhere, or as the latest trailer for Blood Bowl 3 says, are difficult to block.
So it's an interesting build. What's cannot? I think Store is pretty sure that's Deep Road, Sarah, and Chef. Yeah. And a block and a leader tree, and then it's all flanks, no reroll. Deep Road.
Well, he wants to steal yours because, flings are no good on their own, so they have to steal other people's things. Yeah, it's fine, isn't it? I mean, Zara's cheaty good. The trees look okay, block on one, leader on the other. So he does come with one of his own reapers.
Yeah.
No Apo, of course. There's nothing worth apothecarying on that team. Trees won't get hurt. Flings, who cares?
And Deep
Zara
Road and
can't
South.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean Zara's not going to be thrilled. There's a lot of strength 4 on the pitch, but unfortunately the Black Hawks don't even come with block, do they? It was 2 guard
No,
ones.
2 guards. No,
Yeah, so
Siki is all about the blitzers.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it with his blitzers.
But the 2 guard might help the tackle blitzer to take Sarah down.
I mean, obviously the expected outcome here is that the Orcs will win.
And it's a German off as well.
Just say, well, of course they will because I'm Flings. Or if he wins, he gets to go, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, I beat you with Flings, ha ha ha. Which is all Fling coaches really ever want to do.
And not to forget, some German rivalry as well with Siki and Star.
Well, surely all Germans are friends, aren't they?
Nah.
Look, I do think Stor's got win chances there. Of course they do. Flings are a high roll team. If he can get the trees functioning, get the Orcs down. The frenzy is quite difficult to keep in a nice position when there's a whole cloud of Flings around you. As I said, the Black Orcs naked, not a lot of hitting on them, and Zara is very good. So yeah, there are some ways that gets done. I can see Stor winning that.
Yep.
And he really knows what he's doing with Flings. I mean, he is. For me, I haven't seen a better Fling coach.
I think that's fair and Dionysian, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably 70-30 for the Orcs. But that's not bad, is it? I mean, 30% as Flings. I think they'd take that going into most matches.
Ooh.
Right, and then we have Dark Berserk versus Divisional Landmine. Wow.
So that's Fair's North. 12 man. Got 1 Berserker with guard. Got a Dodge Runner, 2 guard wolves, and a Mighty Blow Yeti. That seems a little bit like a meme build.
Yeah, I mean, I do like, the guard caddy. That tends to be why I take a blitzer. If I'm coaching NAF Norse, I quite like a break tackle, Ulf. I mean, obviously that's going to be crap and shit and wrong.
Oh, no Apple. No Apple, 3 rerolls.
Yeah, AV7. Well, I mean, look, he's got it this far, so he must know what he's doing with it. The Yeti, it's a high roll machine, isn't it? Again, if it gets functioning,
6 wins and 6 wins and 1 loss. That's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing with them. The fear, I mean, I won't, sure he won't mind me saying that he doesn't consider himself that brilliant a coach. Still thinks he's very much struggling occasionally with Blood Bowl. But clearly he's got these running and seems to know what he's doing with them. So, yeah. I mean, it's the standard Norse plan, isn't it? Bang on stuff, get ahead.
Yeah, and again,
ahead,
and it's block all around.
Keep banging until they're not there.
And he got some flings, so they block.
Flings. Well, look, there are worse draws for the Flings, aren't there? Because it is an AV7 team.
This could be a 5 versus 5, right?
The Yeti can have a go at the trees. That's going to be interesting. It shouldn't, but it can. They've got block everywhere, which the Flings aren't going to love, of course. But the Ulfs don't. The Guard Ulfs, I don't see them being particularly relevant in this game, which is nice.
Only for trade dicing, right?
Yeah, but even then, against dodge, and at the end of the day, you're perhaps killing a Fling, and you've then taken 2 of your pieces to do it.
But it's only... It's not that deep, this Fling team, right? It's deeper with
No.
Sarah plus Chef and 11, so it's only 13 man.
Yeah, but, well, you say 13, but yes, I mean, 3 of those are trees, and 1 of them is Zara, so you've only got to have 7 Flings on the pitch, don't you? And you've only got 2 spare on the bench, but 1 of your Flings is a block Fling. That's not bad.
No. This could be quite a few players by the end of this game. That was more the point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. This ends up smaller than Blood Bowl 7s, doesn't it?
It probably should. And the Yeti can take all 3 trees, and then it's a game on.
And Norse do tend to want a reroll or 2, so he had the Chef as well, didn't he?
Yes, of course.
So
he hasn't brought anything. He is going with the block and a guard break tackle and a block, so no leader.
No leader on the tree. So a break tackle guard tree and a block tree. And he really needs to steal your rerolls, or else he's hosed. Yeah, absolutely, Muppet. So either they both lose a lot of players, or one of them loses a lot of players. But there's certainly no way that this just ends in lots of pushing around in midfield, is there? That doesn't look like a likely outcome here. I mean, I think Dionysian is a fantastic coach. I think the Norse will win. But I think it's closer than Storrs one. I think they've, despite being so light on people, I think they've got a slightly better chance. Just because of the 3 trees and Zara, which is 4 incredibly good pieces to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to need that chef to fire, though, isn't
he? And the 2 last coaches is Strider and Hellboy, so it's Underworld versus Humans to finish up.
Well, whoever wins that one gets through the next round as well, frankly. And I think Hellboy might be in a bit of trouble there. I mean, I think Strider's an extremely good coach.
So it's a skidder.
One of the stalwarts of the new clan Fumble, which has 4 very high international quality coaches and me in the Rebel Clan system. And he's coaching Humans here, a team he is extremely familiar with and extremely good with. So, yeah.
Hellboy's gone with a guard throw, a Mighty Blow Claw. That could be really useful.
I like that. I think if you're going to skill the troll, you put guard on it and you use it as a fulcrum for your hitting. You've got no business hitting things with a troll if you can possibly avoid it.
I don't even mind going
tense,
whatever.
Firm.
I don't even more conservative than the guard, but guard is fine.
Guard is fine. A decent hitter, which you do need on Underwhelm because they've got so little else, and the other one with guard, that's spot on. That's exactly what I would do. A sure hand, the block on one and leader on the other is again reasonably standard. It's going to be really interesting when they lose the ability to block up one of their throwers because they're only having one in the future, aren't they? But of course they'll have a gutter runner instead, which will make them, I think, enormously better.
This build has a gutter runner because it's a skitter build.
It's rented in skitter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wrestle on the lineman, that's great.
It's
I think that's probably more useful than block or something else there.
Just nice having that extra block piece. I do like the block. I do normally go block and lead on the throwers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen that. And then the block one gets used basically as an extra hitter, doesn't it, on the line of scrimmage, stuff like that. And the leader does most of the ball handling usually. But if you think wood elves are coming for you, then obviously you handle on the block piece. And then DP on one of his Underworld Goblins, which is an interesting use of a double, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm probably taking the Guard Goblin. Or Block Goblin or something. But why not? If you want to high roll people.
Yes, and of course Underworld PCs is the name of his team. So, thank you very much for the tribute, Hellboy. And well spotted, Muppet. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think, a really nice human team. It's not exciting, but it's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, again, we can discuss from here to New Year if you want to put block on the Ogre, which
No, I
means
don't.
you kind of need to use it, which I don't like. I prefer the guard.
Yeah. No, I think the Ogre should just be sat there taking hits and getting in the way. And activating if you really want to hit towards the end of the turn. Block does make it a piece you really have to get more value out of.
Mm-hmm.
I think he rolled this up before he realised that Blood Bowl 2 is, of course, shit and wrong and gives human catchers AV8.
Yes, so
I'm
you can take
pretty
a guard
certain if he-
catcher.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain if he did it again, he'd put guard on one of the catchers.
Because that's so
instead
good.
of block on the Ogre, and that's so good. But of course, he had a Mighty Blow tackle blitzer, which a lot of human builds wouldn't have. But then he knew he was facing, in our division, an Underworld team and 2 Goblin teams, as well as Amazons. So there were 4 things that were going to dodge a lot, as well as an Underworld, as well as an Undead, which you can also get some value out of a good hitting tackle piece with. So it's not surprising he built it that way.
And now we're going to face dodge pieces again.
Yeah, and I think he's going to wreck them. I mean, it's not going to be as one-sided as I'm sort of presenting it. I think Hellboy's got some win chances there. You know, the Claw Mighty can do some work if it takes 2 of the blitzers out in the first half of the first half.
Yeah,
that's going to be very, very difficult to cope with.
Yeah, I think it comes down. It comes more down to how good that Claw Mighty Blow player is than compared to how good the Tackle Mighty Blow is. I think that's the more important part.
Yeah, that's the real matchup. Yeah, I mean, it also, I think they've both skilled up their big guys. So I guess what value they can get out of that is going to be quite key too. Obviously, the Ogre is better than a Troll, but you know, it's not quite as easy to perhaps get the use out of it as it is just to pop goblins around and make sure that Troll is activated or not activated. And using its guard, as I said, as the, you know, using that to get the hits in sometimes with the Mighty Blow Claw. Interesting matchup, interesting top half.
Yeah, so we recap. I think we both have Strider as the favorite there.
Yes, if I had to pick one out of that and put some money on it, it would be Strider. I mean, he certainly wouldn't worry about the flings. I mean, humans have a lot of inbuilt rerolls, you know, a couple of dodge pieces, a sure hands.
And you got some block, you got some tackle, mighty blow, you got what you need.
Absolutely. The Underworld, I think, is going to be a little bit challenging for him, but if I had to put money on it, would be there, I suppose. The Orcs aren't terrible. The Undead aren't terrible.
But who's if we pretend we're saying Strider, who's Strider meeting this top path? It's Garion.
It's probably the Undead, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the favorite from the.
I mean, it's a decent coach with a tier 1 team that's well built.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of silly to pick against him. But
Dio is ready for the 2 flings meeting.
Right. Yes. He's having one of those days, isn't he, where he's living in a slightly different fantasy world to the rest of us. But then that's fine, because, you know, we are all in the darkest timeline, so if he isn't, then good luck to him. So into the bottom half, and we have Gucci galore.
It's Folks for Kio's Skaven versus we all know who Mr. Tattoo.
Mr. Tato.
Wow. Tato. It's
Tato.
Coming.
Yeah, it's Tato. But I prefer Tato, and I think I will insist on calling it that from now on. So Mr. Tato is coming.
How did that game go? You've been division together.
So yes, it's a repeat. Ratty versus Tatty.
What's first? Where's the Ratty and the Tatty?
Yeah. So how did round 1 go?
I think and they're besides each other as well here.
Come on, don't keep us in our suspense. I was going to say suspenders there, but I'm giving away a little too much.
We can look it up now. History, Ratty versus Tatty.
1-1. They both played for the draw. I presume that was in a position where they thought that would be good for their progression chances, and they were metagaming.
That's a Glart build.
Having fun.
So
it is a Glart build. Yeah, it's old Glart, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quick Glart. not the fat rat.
A guard,
It's
a
all right, isn't
tackle.
it? Yeah.
Not
Fine.
great here.
I mean, 2 blodge, a wrestle, a dauntless. There's not much else I'd like to see on the gutters. Perhaps a sidestep if you really want to do the, some one turning, but that's fine. The gutters look fine. Of course, that's the core of the team. 1 guard, 1 tackle blitzers. Yeah, I'm not so sure about tackle on rats. I would have liked to maybe see a mighty blow there instead, but of course, instead he's put that mighty blow on. Oh no, he hasn't. There you are. My glasses were steamed up. Glart's going to do his. Yeah, his
He's going to claw, and I hope claw works. And cheers for the subscription, Rolex.
The problem with the claw, of course, is the Glart doesn't come with mighty blow, does he? So he's very much a stun piece. I mean, it can get removals, but it's much more likely to open holes, which the gutters can use. So that's still a good thing.
And it's not bad because he does fake dwarves, which is hard to kill anyway.
Yeah. It's only 11 outside of Glart. That's there's a lot of AV7 on that team.
And no Apo.
Yeah.
One is Chuck carrying into this.
Everything is alright.
21 months, and PC still HASNT finished his story. LMFAO.
Lovely call. There you go, I did that for you, you were busy.
I was basically listening to the robot voice you didn't get because you...
I mean, it's fine. Absolutely fine.
5 guard. That's
fine.
You don't have... We have the occasionally if you want a mighty blow, and then we have mighty... Like, I will do the same because I cannot be asked to have 1 mighty blow. And then...
I mean, if it's 5, I'm 50-50 between the mighty blow and block on a runner. If it's 6, then sometimes I'm still 4 guard, 1 mighty blow, and a block on a runner. But that's because up at the top end of tabletop NAFs, if I can get there, and I hope normally to try and do that or somewhere near it, then you're going to be facing wood elves and they're going to be leaping in, and you want to be able to smash them in the face, and you want a guarded runner with block, because otherwise, it's just way too easy to steal your ball away, which they do anyway because they're bastards, wood elves, all of them.
Yeah. 3 rerolls.
But I mean, he's not facing anything that can get inside his cage, except of course, if he was to end up against something like Underworld, maybe. But I think it's fine to have naked runners in this format when the skills are so tight on dwarfs.
Yeah.
One slow slayer's fine. I mean, it's the standard NAF build, isn't it? It's just where you put the skills.
He'll subscribe with a free 1.
Cheers, Froic. Oh.
I'm a little bit upset there because obviously that's a Prime subscription that he used to put onto my channel.
Oh.
To you. I feel a bit gutted. That's all right. I can take his purple name away in my Discord and make him yellow.
He might pay you 5 bits.
I'm kidding. I couldn't give a damn. I mean, it's lovely when people subscribe, but it's entirely their own choice, obviously. But you do get, I think, 3p more for a Prime subscription than a paid for one. I have no idea why. So yeah, that's fine. Who's going to win it then? The dwarves or the rats?
I will probably prefer being the dwarves if it's me.
I think I would too, but then I like using dwarves and I hate rats with a passion. But it is a tough match for both. The rats on their drive can easily outmaneuver and outpace the dwarves, and the dwarves on their drive can easily just drive through and smash up the rats. So
the main problem is rats are one of the worst tier 1 teams. Period.
Yes, they are. But if the dwarves misfield in any way, then they're going to get absolutely pounced on by a pack of gutters and whatever other rats can get there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Thrak. If I had to pick there, I think. I'm gonna risk upsetting someone here that I like, but I slightly think the rat coach is better. But 51-49, I'm gonna say dwarfs.
And next is the vampires. Oh yeah.
Vampires.
Oh yeah.
Now, would you say WH or would you just go with a big old W? Because
Wham.
I always thought WAM, for vampires.
Wham. Wham. Vampires.
Okay, as in Andy Ridgely and that other fella.
Yes. Who were they playing? They were playing. Oh, we got them here. We got Elliot's. And this time we actually, it's not like Irish shows vampire-less vampires.
No, these ones have vampires, which is great. Though I really wanted that vampire team to go through, but it didn't.
Yeah, that was
So
amazing
4
good
dodge
fun.
wamps, and only 3 rerolls, no pro, and then controversially some skilled up thralls. I mean, there is a 4th reroll because of leader.
I think we talked about this one as well. I liked one of those wrestle being frenzy because of the hypnogate cheat.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think there are. You persuaded me last time. I think there are things you can do with that. Though the rackle piece is nice and rowdy. I do like that.
And a leader to make the full reroll.
Yeah.
Double.
I mean, a block one, so that you've just got one safe hit on the line of scrimmage, maybe. With the 2 wrestles, that gives you 3 hitters. One block is always nice. If you want to, activate and do a blitz without moving your vampires, that means you do have those chances sometimes.
Yeah. And 4
and a
rerolls.
Nice deep bench up to 14. I mean, it's a nicely built vampire team. I just dodge on all 4 vampires. I mean, I know why they're AG4. Having dodge just gives them such fabulous mobility, but couldn't one have been a pro or a block or something?
But it's worked.
It has, yeah. But then a lot of people really don't know how to deal with vampires at all, do they?
And the question if it's those dwarves knows what to do with them.
Mars M just accusing you of being a cottager there, which is always fun. Always nice to talk about people's sexual proclivities. Yeah, and the Cologne Giants. Oof.
So we gone 4, 5. No, that's 4. That's a bit of an odd number of, but that's.
I mean, I completely hate it, to be honest, but he's got it working, so it's a slightly strange build. It only gets 2 rerolls in the Apo, but that leaves him 2 for fan factor and a coaching assistant and a cheerleader, because there's 40k that you can't spend if you go with 2 slayers.
Yeah. And could have gone with a runner more if you wanted to use.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go 2 slayers, but then you've got 4 AV8. That's never ideal because dwarves need to just get hit and take it. Yes, Blur, can I have another? Oh, that sort of thing. That's what the dwarves like. 3 guard, very, very light. And it just really means you've got to get those slayers working and working effectively. And that means you've got to use the guard to help them do it very often. But hence you've got a block runner because that means you're not going to be as good at keeping your ball safe. So at least that's a sensible precaution.
Yeah.
And a Mighty Blow gives him 3 hitting options every single turn, doesn't it? So that's, I mean, I see the advantages, but I wouldn't do it.
No. But it's a bit of a weird one into 4 block vampires.
Incredibly weird matchup as well, though, isn't it? I mean, the best. Someone said to me recently, the best way to fight vampires is not to. They're not that fast. Just be somewhere else.
Yeah, but that's not happening here, right?
No, I do like that as a plan. The problem is dwarves don't have that option.
They need to take him on.
Dwarves need to be stable, and they need to, get their guard where it needs to be and rely on it because they're not strong and they're not fast and they can't run away. And the vampires can just destroy that any turn. But also, they cannot destroy that any turn because they're vampires. Yeah, you need to get on top of them. You need to get on top of them every drive. You need to bang out them from turn 1 to turn 8. And when there's 3 vampires and 3 full thralls on the pitch, that's much easier to control. When there's 11, if they can stay at 11 or 10 for to turn 4 in any half, then I think the vampires are in a really good position to absolutely mess those dwarves up and their drive. And just because I don't like the build, I'm going to pick the vampires.
Yeah, I do think Elliot could have the chances to win this one.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, he did that fabulous run with his vampires recently. And, his vampires. What am I saying? And he's got a lot of recent experience in coaching vampires and coaching them well. So Yeah, I mean, having said that, that dwarf team has got here with a reasonable record, but I think their journey ends there.
And we got three games left. And that's two familiar team names.
It certainly is.
Yeah, it's really good going. So yeah, if nothing else, congrats with making the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first up, it's some filthy Roxy sounds.
I mean, these are disgusting, aren't they?
Who will do that?
It's
Like
almost
seriously, seriously, guys, who do that? Of course, there's only 2 rerolls.
I mean, I actually do have a NAF title with a Zon Roxy build. So, I mean, yeah, terrible thing to do. Should never do it. And just leave it to me to do. Now, they're a bit rowdy because, again, of the division they were in, knowing that they probably faced Underworld and 2 Goblin teams. They built with both a Mighty Blow and a Tackler, and I think that's one too many. I think they're short of guard.
Yep.
So they added another blodger with their 5th skill up. I think that's good. That's fine. I might have preferred to see a Rog piece there, and then forgo the tackle. Certainly for playoffs, I think that would be more useful. But on the other hand, he's got what he's got, and he's got it this far. So, and of course, Roxy does a lot of the hitting on those teams. Though, against anything rowdy, she has to stay back and really pick her moment, because she is, of course, AV7.
Yep.
And no apoth access, even though there isn't an apoth anyway. So, not really an issue.
2 rerolls and 1 bench.
It's
the downside of Roxy.
It is. To squeeze her in, you have to go very light, and of course, lots of AV7 makes that just a worry, doesn't it?
And it's potentially also a little bit uphill with it being playoff and overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And, only 2 guard. I mean, you need sometimes those guards to be in the right place for Roxy to really do her business. And 2 of them's just a little light, isn't it? A little bit.
I do like going actually all 4 guard with Roxy.
I kind of do. Yeah, exactly, because I'm not even sure you can afford the Mighty Blow. And you just need to stay solid and find the moments for Roxy to do her magic for you. And then if you've got a 5th skill, as I said, perhaps a Rog piece, instead of a tackle might have been a way to go. But it's certainly a build that got him this far, and I think it was really well built for the division. I don't think it's as well built for playoffs. And Grave City Bandits by Toxic Showboat. So, yeah, I mean, this is fine. I know you've got this thing about 2 skeletons. That's interesting. Let's talk about that. The rest isn't interesting.
I like them for short drives.
Yeah.
Or fast teams. And it's the likelihood of them getting...
Or is it about keeping up with the ghouls?
It's the speed, mainly.
Okay.
It's a bit of terrible. If you want to go fast and you need to switch to do stuff, then the zombies, that extra movement is really nice.
I mean, we did have 2 Goblin teams and an Underworld and an Amazon. And Undead, who also, of course, come with the dodgy ghouls. And then Core decided that when the Goblin team pulled out, he'd replace them with Dwarves, which was really, really fair.
Yes.
And everyone thought that was fine.
That's a good admin work.
So, yeah, I mean...
And the likelihood of them, they're slightly better against something and slightly worse against other things. And it can, sometimes they're on the bench, sometimes they're on the field.
I mean, it's not your easiest matchup, is it?
No, all the dodge. No, this is not particularly well built against.
I mean, you've got your Rog piece. That's going to have to do the sacking. You've also only got 2 guards, so you don't outguard him. The Mighty Blow mummies, I mean, giving them 3 die is not that easy to do.
But you'll need to try to get them 3 dicing.
Yeah, because otherwise it's a 1 in 3 when they hit, and that isn't going to remove enough Amazons for you. So, Throwback has some win conditions here.
It's definitely not what you want to see.
And joking aside, I've coached with him at the UKTC. He's a good friend of mine. He is underrated as a coach. when people looked at our team for the UKTC, they saw Malmir and me as the powerhouses. And the fact is that Josh and Throwick, put in really good numbers when we went up both times. And it's, they're both really strong, really solid coaches.
But I also confess I'd rather see the Finn Roxy build than I want to see like a deep bench zone build.
Yeah, because if you do get those nice dice against 2 or 3 of the Amazons, then suddenly they are going to start to look a bit thin.
Yeah, or they have an unlucky dodge and kill one themselves and stuff like I had earlier today.
Grass stains can be ruinous to Amazons.
Where you cannot 3+ to save your life. Which is easier to take if you're 14 players and can just keep fielding new ones.
Yes, unfortunately, my first clan game, I only have 12, which is very, very light.
Oh, you're playing Amazons?
I'm playing Amazons in the clan. But I'd hoped, obviously, to get through game 1 and then hire more Amazons.
Yep.
See if that works for me. I'm playing Chaos, so, could be worse.
I got Camry round 1. With my Amazons.
Okay.
But last game is another Dimity reference.
Yeah, well, he is famous. He is the champ. Didn't, of course, make it through, as when he built his Chaos Dwarf team, he forgot that apothecaries existed and bought an extra hobgoblin instead. And that also seemed to get into his head, didn't it? And then he was joining his games not feeling confident and not enjoying playing chores, which is fine. Didn't have a fun season, sadly.
And Ragland Reapers.
Yep.
So that's Lagos.
Yeah, well, he quotes that all the time. I mean, to some degree, it was a compliment. I was talking about my love for Dimmy and how he, resists arguments with just a wall of self-confidence and surety that he doesn't display at other times. I think it's interesting. But I love the man, as his name. I think he genuinely took a bit of offence to that, and I don't quite understand why. But there we are. I make no apologies. I said what I said. So yeah, Largo Feldlau, as we said, he's been this far before, so he's got the experience. Again, it's a nicely built team. It's interesting. There's only sort of one team build I really don't like at this level, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean,
he got the guard catcher, which we both like a lot.
Yeah.
He gone with an extra guard instead of the tackle, which I don't hate.
No, I mean, depending on what he was facing in the division, I think that is probably what I would do. I mean, it's lovely to have a tackle, but it's just so hard to justify on NAFs. And a nice naked ogre that can just get in the way and you don't worry about it as much because you're not asking it to do much. Store says Largo was just lucky, but,
It's like Store doesn't like the other Germans. I don't know what this is up.
Well, I'm not sure what Store does like. Yes, I am. He's a fling coach. He likes humiliating other people with a build that, if it goes wrong for him, he can just go, oh, well, it was only flings, of course I lost. So that's what Store likes.
And brighter than them is, of course, our lenses.
Yeah.
Which is looking surprisingly like some others.
Yes, I mean,
he's gone with
you shouldn't listen to what Store says. He just tries to pick fights. Turn your back on him, he'll be marching on Poland. Largo's a very good coach, very solid, and like we said, he's got to the playoffs before. You don't do that by accident in TSD. The field is usually very strong. So this is fine, isn't it? It's absolutely fine. You don't like the sure hands on a ghoul to, keep those rerolls dry?
I don't mind it. I just find it with 5 skills, I don't think you can afford it. If I have 4 ghouls and 6 skills, I might take it.
Just the one skeleton, which is quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I just like 2. I don't know why. I like him having a partner in crime.
Sure.
But
sure.
I like having.
As you said, it does add a bit of speed. He's gone to 13, which is nice.
With mine, he's going my route as well with 3 ghouls.
Yeah, and it does allow him to, yes, 3 ghouls and 13, which does mean you can kick something in the face usually if you really decide you want to.
If he's taking hits, you're
doing it wrong, Kevin. Yes, he thinks that your sure hands ghoul should not be anywhere near being hit.
No, but that's why you need to. The problem is if Undead's starting getting problems, you need the ghouls to do work.
Yeah.
And the sure hands is not doing work besides picking the ball up.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pull the mummies apart and isolate them from the rest of whatever's going on, then they really do start to look a little thin. If they can keep the mummies active and involved in where things are, relevant, then they're incredibly hard to deal with. But that, of course, move 3 makes that quite tricky.
Yeah.
But of course, that's why they're tier 1, is that they build really solid, they do really good performances. It's no surprise we've got this many undead in.
No, they can.
And of course, you can also get 13 players and 3 rerolls, which at NAF level is quite punchy.
Yeah, they got the bend, they got the reroll, they got the speed, they got a bit of agility, they got the hitting powers. They have a bit of everything, where most team is missing a bit of something. Well, Undead kind of gets everything.
Yeah, they so do.
It is, and it's like it. I'm not saying, if I had 6 skills and 4 ghouls, I'd probably take it as the last one. I just don't think you can afford it in with only 3 ghouls and 3 skills on them.
But I mean, it's interesting that none of the undead that have got through have made the mistake of skilling the mummies, have they?
Nope. Yes, it's overtime already.
So they're all built fine, yeah.
Yeah, as long we didn't have to talk about that, which was a pleasant. We've been talking enough about skilling up mummies and why
oh yeah,
both of us.
If people haven't got the message by now, then read a book.
Might again. That's rules for everything. If you get a double, having the block for extra attrition is fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then you have a ramming piece you can ram into people.
I've never seen block and 4. I've never seen a double and 4. It's always a double and 5.
Yes, normally.
So then you can still have your 2 guard whites, and you can still skill up 3 ghouls, and then you can still have a block mummy. So then it's your on top of what you need skill, and then having a mighty blow block strength 5 piece is of course really good. Super duper. Who's going to win the bottom half?
That's a good question.
It is, isn't it? I think there's more good teams down there. Just because there aren't, 2 sets of flings, for God's sake. What the hell are 2 sets of flings doing here?
2 sets of flings with Underworld. So half stunt, 2.5 stunty team in 8 teams. I don't know. I think
it's a lot harder to pick.
I will probably say it's the one semi-final is going to be who wins between Gucci Galore and Fakeos and Hedgehog. I think beats the Vampires the round after.
Yeah, I think the Vampires might get through against the Dwarves. I think at some point they're going to come up short, just because of Vampires. But then I thought that in the Chalice, and Ducky's in the semis, so
yep.
Who knows?
But it's a bit more rowdy Vampire
really dull. I think we're facing Gucci Galore versus Brighter Than Dim in the semis. Yeah. And hence I'm going to pick Undead for the final and not say who.
Yeah, me too.
And I know that's a really boring pick, but there we are. I need a cigarette. I've been coaching Blood Bowl before this, so I'm not doing more work.
It could be a boring Undead.
Yes, Siggy's Orcs are half stunty too. That's also
true. Oh, fuck's sake, yeah. And that's
so we have a stunty top half that Strider will win, and proper teams in the bottom half.
And the
flotsam, the lighter crap has floated to the top of that draw, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, but you playing dwarves all season.
Well, look, Volt, you're getting to the point now where you must, like me. If people always say, if I'm facing dwarves, oh, you'll hate that, won't you? No, I don't mind. I mean, obviously it can go horribly wrong, but I flatter myself I've got a reasonably good idea of what dwarves can and can't do, and what they do and don't want to face. So I don't mind facing dwarves. But yeah, if you've just done lots and lots of that, then it does get a bit tedious. I think even in the final, so I've picked an undead team versus Strider to be in the final, and I'm picking the undead team to win it. I don't particularly like a humans versus undead matchup, personally.
No.
Now, none of that means anything. We'll probably be wrong about every single matchup.
Of course, that's the fun part.
Yeah, of course it is. Except the flings. They are shit and wrong, and they will die. Or anything with greater move than 4 store, which is, absolutely everything. Except orcs, who outstrength them. I mean, I think dwarves have a reasonable case for being the 4th stunty race. Yeah, I didn't say you, Ori. I said one of the undead teams. I'm being deliberately non-specific there. Because I think they may well end up in the semi against each other, and then it's a bit of a coin flip. They're both nicely built, so it's going to be down to coaching and dice.
Yeah, they're quite eager. They're as similar as to get, almost.